All right, so this video is going to show you how to graph lines in MyLab using where it says click to enlarge graph. So let's go ahead and look at this. So first of all, the question says determine the solution of the following system. So you have two linear equations. So what we have to do is it says use a graphing tool to graph the system. So let's go ahead and click on to enlarge the graph, which I would assume would enlarge this. So let's go ahead and do that. So basically, it should enlarge this right here. So let's see what happens. So we're going to click on this, and it does. Now I think we can maybe make it larger, maybe not. So I thought we could probably expand it, but I don't think we can. But we can move it around. So let's see what it says. It says click the graph, choose a tool in the palette, and follow the instructions. So I was reading right here. So right here it says click the graph, choose a tool in the palette, and follow the instructions. So here are your tools right here. You have to notice that these equations here are linear equations, so their graphs are going to be lines. So the tool you're going to use will be the one that looks like a line. This one here is absolute value, the one I'm pointing to, the one that looks like a V. And then, and then this one here, and you're going to use at some point, the one that looks like a U, is a parabola. And this here is kind of like a sideways parabola. When we talk about functions, we'll see what that is. And this is your circle. But since we're dealing with two linear equations, you're going to click the one that looks like a line. So let's go ahead and do that. So it says click the graph, choose a tool in the palette, and follow the instructions. So let's go ahead and click this tool here. And then it says click the graph to plot the first point on your line. So if you look at that first equation, y equals negative 2x plus 3. So remember, to graph a line, all we need are at least 2 points. So since y is equal to negative 2x plus 3, since y is by itself, we're going to pick a value for x. And I'm going to choose 0. 0 is always a nice number to use. So when x is 0, I want you to notice negative 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. So when x is 0, y is 3. So 0, 3, remember x is 0, y is 3, so 0, 3 is on the positive y-axis. So I'm going to click on that. So notice right here, now I'm able to move this line. But remember, to graph a line, we need at least 2 points. So it tells you up here, notice where it says, click the graph to plot the second point. So I need to pick one more point for this line. So let's say x is 2. So remember, we can use any number for x, any real number for x, since the domain's all real numbers. So I can use any number for x. And always pick a nice number, like an integer. So decimals make things a little bit more difficult when graphing. So use integers to help you. So when x is, let's say, 2, I just picked the number 2. You could have said negative 3. You could have said 4. You could have said 8. But always choose numbers that will give you a point that's located in these quadrants that you're able to see. So if x is 2, I get this. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 3 is a negative 1. Right? So when x is 2, my y value is negative 1. So I'm going to plot 2, negative 1. So 2, negative 1. So here's where x is 2 and y is negative 1 is right here. See the little box? So click there, and now you get this. So there's my first line. It says an object is selected, delete it or move it with arrows by dragging. All right, so I already did that. Okay, now we need to do the other line, for example. So basically what I found is that the graph of that first equation is this right here. So every point, see that orange line? So this orange line contains an infinite number of points. So the solutions to that first equation the solution to that first equation, y equals negative 2x plus 3, is every point on that line. I used 2 of them, but there's an infinite number. So these are the 2 I used, but there's an infinite number. All these points on that orange line are solutions to that first equation. Now what I want to do is I want to graph that second equation. So let's do the same thing. Let x be 0. 0 is always a nice number to use. So when x is 0, I get y equals 4 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 3 is a negative 3. So I get 0, negative 3. So 0, negative 3. Oops, don't forget to click the line for your second. See the little line tool right here? So to graph that second line, I got to go back to this now. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click this. All right, so now it says plot your first point. So I'm going to plot 0, negative 3. So 0, negative 3 is here. Notice a little box around 0, negative 3. When I click, I'm now getting another line that I need to move, and I need to pick another point on that line. So remember, we're using this line right here, y equals 4x minus 3. So let's pick a number for x. So let's say x is 1 this time. So if x is 1, I get 4 times 1 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. So when x is 1, my y value is 1. So now I'm going to go back, and I'm going to plot the point 1, 1. So that's this right here. See what the little box is? So click on it, and there's my second line. So the solutions to that second equation, what I found when I graph a line, remember when we graph anything, an equation, what you're graphing are the solutions. So this line, y equals 4x minus 3, is this line right here, this orange line. So I've graphed an infinite number of points. All these points are solutions to that line, to that equation. To graph this, I found 2 of the solutions right here. So remember, to graph a line, you need at least 2 points on that line, 2 solutions on that line. All right, and then it says, all right, so I've already, an object is selected, delete it or move it with the arrows by dragging. So basically, let's say I made a mistake. So what they're saying is I can move it like this. I could move it like this. I could move it like this. If I want to, I can click on it, or maybe I can do this, and so I could delete it. I just got to pick one of the points, I guess, and then I can come here and I could delete. And it says delete the object, say OK, so it deleted the line. All right, so if you make a mistake, you can always go and delete it. But let's go ahead and plot that line again. So if y is 0, I get y equals 4 times 0, 0 minus 3 is negative 3. We've got to click that line again. So that's this right here. And then let's say x is 3. So if x is 3, I get 4 times 3 is 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. So my other point is going to be, what did I say? 3, 9. So 3, when x is 3, my y value is 9. That's about here. So put the little, click on the little box right here. Now you've graphed your line. So even though I use a different point this time, it's still the same line. You'll notice it's still the same line. I just used 2 different points. Okay, so now that I've graphed my 2 lines, I'm going to go ahead and save. So I'm done. I'm saved. So click on save. And then there's my 2 lines right here. Okay, so it's saying determine the solution to the following system of equations graphically. All right, so I graphed the two graphs, and remember, when you're graphing a system, this is called a system. When you're graphing a system, in this case, it's 2 linear equations. The solution is where the 2 graphs intersect. So this point right here would be the solution. This right here. So that's at what? 1, 2. So 1, 2. So 1, 2 is the solution. So that's where the 2 graphs intersect. I'm sorry, 1, 1, right? 1, 1. So when x is 1, my y value is 1. So that's the solution to the system. And I can always check. So when I always go back to the 2 equations. So we talked about that in the lessons. Always go back to the 2 equations, and where we see the x value for both x's, you're going to substitute 1. Remember, this is 2, 1 right here. I'm sorry, 1, 1, and y is 1. So negative 2 times 1 is a negative 2. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. So that is correct what I have. And then we're going to click on check the answers down here. Check the answers. And oops, let me go ahead and click now, check the answers, and it says well done. All right. And I believe, oh, so all that well done was right here was just to tell us that we graphed it correctly. Now we got to do the next part. So when I did check answers, it just said that what I have graphed is correct. Now I've got to answer the question. So select the correct choice below. If necessary, fill in the answer box to complete your choice. So the solution to the system is, and it says type in order pair. The second choice is there's an infinite number of solutions, and the third choice is there's no solution. Well, obviously you saw that those two lines intersect at one place, so that one point where they intersect is the solution. So we're going to go here, and we have to type as an ordered pair. So you remember you got to use parentheses. So down here, I think you can use your keyboard on your the keys on your keyboard, or if you want to, you can actually see right here. Since I'm doing an ordered pair, it gives us an ordered pair. So I can click on that instead. So let's just go ahead and do that. Let's just do what they give us. And remember, you can always click on more, and there's some other stuff here, right? So I'm just going to click on less. See that little less right here? So I'm going to click on less, and all I need is this right here. And then you see it puts the two ordered pairs, the x and the y here. So my solution is that x is 1, and the other one is y is 1. Oops, I need to put in the little blue box. Well, I guess, all right, let's try it again. 1, okay. And then we're going to check the answer, and so we're done. So now we're going to go to the next question. But that's how you do this. So that's how you're going to graph. That's how you graph using MyLab.